Hi there, everyone. This is the Animal Intuitive, and that was a forward. What's coming on the show is a little picture of my cat Giovanna there, and I'm going to be talking about her because I'm going to be talking about what to do when your pets just won't listen to you. So, stay watching. I know this is a big topic for a lot of pet parents.
Come on, all you doggies, won't you walk with me? I'm the puppet dog.
Hi there. So again, this is Angelo Webb. I am the Animal Intuitive. And on this show, we talk about animal communication, natural pet care, and I do also interview sometimes with people who are big advocates and, very kind of forward-thinking individuals in the fields of animal care and advocacy. And today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about pets who just kind of don't listen. And I know a lot of us have those pets. It's not unusual to have them. And that's just sort of, part of the whole deal with animal communication. We accept that animals are sentient beings and they have their own thoughts and feelings. And, that's just part of the game, is that we have to try to understand them. And so I'm having a little bit of a problem with my camera there. So I'm just trying to fix it. Okay. Not unusual for us to have problems on this show. That's just how that works. So, okay. So, it's good to see everybody tonight. Good night, Owl. I see you are driving, so you're dropping some things off at Goodwill. That's wonderful. And hi, Tammy. Good to see you too. My Giovanna is actually right now in the background, swatting around a cap, so she's going to be making some noise, which is par for the course with Giovanna, doing whatever she can to raise havoc. So I just want to mention that if you do benefit from this show at any point, please do give us a like and a subscribe. We're a growing channel here, so we do appreciate it. So on this show, I try to help people with problems that they're having with their pets. And I wanted to talk about this topic because it's actually close to my heart. Giovanna, I'm going to show you a little picture of her right now, as I think that flashed up before I even came on. Where is she? Yeah, it was there, but it's not there now, of course. Let me see if I can get it to come in here. If not, it's not that important, but... She gives me a run for my money. This is a show that I did a while back, and as you can see by the look on her face, she has a mind of her own. You can just sort of tell by looking at that picture. She really came to us in an interesting way. She couldn't stay with her previous person who had a job where she was going to be traveling a lot, and we were just so happy to find her. So. But she's an interesting character, and recently she has decided that she would like to be going outside. I have a back door that goes out into sort of a shared area with other people, and it's not really somewhere that you want your cat wandering around. There is a wooded area off in the distance, and I would prefer that she not be, running around out there, because sometimes fox and, other wildlife sometimes come through. Like, we've even seen coyote here. We're in sort of a suburban area, and, we've infringed on animals' territory so much that we do get some wildlife here that's kind of interesting. So I would prefer she not do that. But she is very strong-willed, and she recently started busting out the door when I would bring the dogs inside. So I wanted to talk about how to use animal communication to help with this problem. And, feel free to mention if you have these issues. It sounds like, Tammy, you do. So you can share my pain. And I will have time available after this to do, if anyone wants me to be doing some animal communication with their animals, just to mention that. So thank you, everyone who's here. just to listen to this. And if you want me to talk to your pet afterward, I will be happy to do that. Oh, wow. Coyote, snakes, and scorpions. Oh, wow. So when we communicate with animals, it's really important to get into that centered space. I talk about it a lot on this show. We want to be grounded when we talk with them. And that's part of it, is getting centered. And so I recommend doing some kind of a meditation. I have a free downloadable guided meditation with binaural beats, which kind of helps the brain get more focused and grounded. And that's on my website, intuitivetouchanimalcare.com. The link is in the description if you want to get that. But that can help you to get centered. I walk you through sort of introducing you to animal communication. And make sure you do that before you go in to talk to your animal about anything that is something that, is anything really. But especially when there's something that's particularly of a concern that you need to quote unquote fix something. So when we first go in, it's really important to go in with a very open mind and an open heart. And we want to first understand what their perspective is. So we really want to feel what they're feeling and see what they're seeing through their eyes. And we can do that. That's part of the meditation. It's really trying to get into all the senses. And you can see sort of like a movie, or you'll see images sometimes. Sometimes you will hear, and I don't mean from like a voice coming from outside of you. It's like you're hearing sort of as though it's your own thoughts, but it's their thoughts because you are in tune with them, and that's your intention. And you have that feeling that you've connected with them, and that's what animal communication is. I'm so sorry. I can't really get up to take that away from her, that cap. I hope it's not too distracting. So with Gia, I sent her images of fox and coyote coming to get her. So basically, and I know that sounds really awful in a way, but what I'm trying to do is really drive home to her that she's really in danger if she's just to go out there and be wandering around, especially because I see this like look in her eye that she's ready to go. She's looking at that wooded area. And I could definitely, she's fast and she's strong. She's only like 2.5 now. And I could see her just seeing something and bolting towards it. So, but I don't show her that first. First, I want to understand what she's feeling. And what she has shown me that she's feeling is, it's a very much like a hunting excitement, kind of like her whole system's like ready to go. When she hears the birds out there, she really gets excited. And she hears it from the inside, and because it's like a screen door, and she's learned now that there's a lot out there and it's exciting. And so, I have to acknowledge that she feels that way. That's just something it's important to respect how she's feeling and understand her perspective first, and not just to go in like, you have to stop doing this, because any sort of overwhelming emotion like that, we kind of try to stay away from with animal communication. Animals don't respond so well to that overwhelming type of emotion and forcefulness. So we want to be in a receptive mode and, understanding her. So I take that all in. I understand that she doesn't want to be inside all the time, that she wants to explore the world. And what I get from her is like she doesn't agree when I show her an image or a movie of something coming to get her and harm her. And as I said, I do make it very kind of graphic. I try to really put the feeling in it of her being grabbed with teeth and being taken and attacked and harmed and ultimately not being with us anymore, and also showing her how sad I would be, my husband would be, if that happened. So I have to then take in her response to that too. I can't just like leave it there and assume that I'm done. I've told her how I feel and she's just going to accept it and I'm going to walk away. I'm finished with that. So her response to that was that she didn't feel that, she felt that she could handle it, was basically what it was. She is young, and to some degree I think that plays into it. She is, there's kind of two levels when we're doing animal communication. There's the animal in front of us and I guess you would almost say like the ego animal, just like us. Like we have the ego self that wants what we want, and we're kind of on this like the earthly us. And then there's the higher us, like the spiritual sort of the aspect of us that if we really are looking for the highest good, we go there. We can, hopefully get there when we do things like reflection and meditation and prayer and just, whatever you do to get there. But it's that space where it's not just all about our ego, what we want, we can see other perspectives and allow in, okay, maybe I want this, but that's not the highest good. So when you're talking to an animal, it's similar. And I do think there's to some degree, it comes into play when they're young and they're not quite understanding things. They haven't had the life experience, so to speak. And she hasn't, and she's still very she's still got that like kitten impulsive brain. So she's not taking it in the way perhaps I would hope that she would take that information and say, oh, okay. I get that she's like, I'm having fun. This is my instinct. This is what I want to do. I'm fine. I'm a cat. I'm equipped to handle any situation, she feels. And she also was in a shelter, and the images that I get of that shelter in that situation was that it was open at least some of the time, where she could walk around and be with other cats. And it was like, I guess I kind of think of it as like being in prison or something. Like she learned how to, she's kind of a little bit of a bruiser, like a little bit. She's very pretty and everything and very furry and cute, but she's also, she's big too. So when we first got her, I've talked about on the show, it was a little bit of an issue with our other cat. We had to use some things to help her with that. I have an episode about that. If you're interested, and I'll link that. I'll have it either up above here, or if I forget, I'll put it in the description or at the end somewhere. But it talks about getting her and how she adjusted and how we used some things. But anyway, her response was not exactly what I wanted. So when animals don't give you the response that you necessarily want right off the bat, you do need to take a step back and think, okay, like I'm gonna have to come back and deal with this maybe more than once. So today actually, I took some time to tune in with her, because this is becoming sort of this is like a newish issue. So it just has been happening. So I tuned in with her again today before the show, because I wanted to get in that space and see what else where she's at with it. So her response was that it hadn't really shifted. It's like, I still want to do this and nothing's happened yet. I've run out the door, and I kind of go out there and I have to like sort of scoot her in. There's some bushes and she goes in there, and I have to like get in there and kind of like tap things and try to get her to move and go back towards the back door. So we talked about solutions, because this is the other step of all of this. Ultimately, what you want is you want to work towards solutions. You want to try to come to some kind of a compromise, and hopefully not having to like force your will on them. In most situations, I feel like there's some room for a compromise, and I learned this in my work as a counselor, that even when it seems like there's just things have to be this way, that there's always like some way to give the other person or help the person feel like they have some kind of investment or power, for lack of a way to put it, better way to put it. so that they can have some investment in it and feel like you're not just forcing your will on them. So I connected in with her and I offered some thoughts on that. So one of them was a leash, that she'd be able to go out there on a leash. And what you have to do is explain and show and have the feeling of it on the body, and so show how, like, I would be guiding it. And she sort of was like, maybe, she didn't completely, she liked the view that she was outside. So at least we have like an opening there that, maybe this is a way for us to get to an agreement, was that she felt good about the idea that at least I get to go out there. I think that we're going to have to try the leash first and see how it goes, and I will follow up on the show and let you know how that goes. I have to find one in her size. We'll see what happens. But that's a really key aspect of animal communication, is respecting that the animals are sentient beings, that they have feelings, that they have thoughts, and that it's really important for us to respect that and include them in decision making as much as possible. So let me know your thoughts on all this, if anyone feels like in the chat. I have a boxer pillow in the nook and cranny in the house. You probably mean like in every nook and cranny for her, like just I bet that's what you mean. I know the accommodating. That's why I think I know what you mean. Our lives kind of revolve around accommodating our animals, so that's why we have the show, for the people who do things like that. It's our community here. We understand each other. So I also wanted to mention that this happens in other situations. It's happened with clients actually pretty recently. I don't know if it's because the weather's better. I've had a succession of clients who've had issues with dogs going on walks and having some problems. I think it's probably because people are maybe a little bit out more, or they had these issues and then they kind of retreated a little bit in the winter, and now it's coming up again. I'm so sorry. I sneezed like 5 or 6 times in a row before I went on this. Sorry for the way I sound. I'm not sick. It's like I had a reaction to something I was using. Just a little bit of, I guess, a sensitivity. But anyway, this happens a lot too with animal communication. I'll often have clients with the same issues in a bunch. It's an interesting thing. It's something about like that universal like connection that we all have. So I'll have multiple animals, and maybe even in one day, that have a similar issue going on. So yeah, you're lucky. Yeah. Oh, she can go. Yeah, you have. Oops, I almost banned you. Whoops, sorry. Clicking the wrong buttons. So yeah, any place she can get in: couch, toilet, tables, chairs. Yeah. Well, that's so nice that you're trying to make her comfortable. So good night owl. Our feline girls don't express an interest in going out, so that's nice. So we have lots of windows, and yeah, that's ideal. If you can kind of help them to just be happy inside, I think it's ideal. I don't like the idea of having a cat that goes in and out. It's not for me. I think some people can tolerate that better than me. Like they can, I don't know, people that I've talked about it on the show, like that. For me, knowing that they're out there I would be worried all the time. I couldn't deal with it. I think some animals are meant to be outside for whatever reason. They've come into this world, and that's the life they want to live. And hopefully, you're in the right relationship, the right match, that you don't mind that. Bunny Lady Godiva O'Hare insists on I love it, redecorating her lair, though. I think she must have been an interior decorator. Oh, they do that, right? They like move stuff around and oh good, I'm glad you got over your sinus infection using fish antibiotics. Fish antibiotics? I don't know what that, I've never heard of that. That's interesting. Um, Interesting. So, dogs wanting to go on walks, but then they get like a certain point, to a certain point in the walk, and they want to go home, or they're turning around, they're reacting to things like they're not acting normal. And so people are trying to figure out what to do about that. Sorry, I have like a light in my eye. I'm trying to fix it. Um, it's making it hard for me to see. Um, so, yeah, I've had an interesting kind of slew of dogs like that. And so we have to get to some kind of understanding of what their perspective is. I had a one that was really interesting where they were showing me, they kept going like that, like they kept turning around and looking behind them, sort of. And as we were, I was explaining to the person, well, this is what I'm initially seeing. I'm seeing them, they keep going like that, and I'm feeling like they're trying to draw your attention towards the hind end. And then they said, oh, in the past, they did have some kind of a thing happen, and it was towards the back. I'm not remembering exactly. I think it was like a knee thing, or a hip and a knee. But anyway, that brought that to light, that their dog was having that problem. So I had to understand that first and understand the dog's perspective, and imagine if they just kept trying to force the dog to go forward, and the dog was trying to, say something. So in that situation, I was able to refer them to somebody for, I really felt like chiropractic was coming into play. They had been to a vet recently, but it's not like they weren't getting veterinary care. I always recommend people not use animal communication as a substitute for veterinary care. They shouldn't. I am not a vet. I don't diagnose or treat. But it was coming up that they needed some help with that. They probably needed some chiropractic. So they were going to have that assessed. And, so we just have to understand where the animal is coming from, and then try to come to some kind of a solution or an agreement. And that one, we didn't necessarily need to like a agreement. We just needed to find out what was going on, and then they were able to act on it. So I hope that is helpful. I'd love to hear what people are kind of dealing with out there in the world, and let me know what kind of things you would like me to talk about on this show. And let me know if you've had issues with your pet where you were sort of stuck and you didn't know what was going on, and then you eventually sort of took a step back and you were able to see things different from their point of view. Because I think even sometimes just in life we get so busy and we don't always notice everything, and then sometimes you get a break. Sometimes it's like, bright ideas sometimes come to me, like I'll be in the shower. There's, that whole thing with like people getting ideas that come to them when the water hits them, and or just going to sleep and maybe waking up the next day after clearing your head, and you take a step back and realize, oh yeah, that happened, and now I can see it differently. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And yep, I hear people talking about kind of holistic-y things in the chat, and I hear you. I agree. I like to try things that are the most natural. I think there's a huge place for that, and I try not to jump to other things first to avoid side effects. It's nice that we have some things that are stronger, especially in an emergency. But that's what this show is about, is first trying to figure out, hey, what can we do to avoid some of those things that might have side effects. And so I like hearing this. Contessa finished 3-week chiropractic sessions. Oh, good. And I can really see the improvement in her walk and movements. I told my vet about you. Oh, thank you so much. And he's a holistic vet. Wonderful. I appreciate word of mouth is my world. By the way, that's Gia. I guess she just got up there. See, she's a big girl. She's a plus size girl. She's Yeah, she's very strong-willed. She's doing a little show for everybody. So um, we'll be working on that. We have to try to see how that goes with taking her outside, and I'll let everyone, I'll update you. I know you guys are going to be waiting with bated breath on that. It's going to be consuming you to know what's going on with Gia and going outside, I'm sure. So let me know what everyone would like to see for future sessions, and if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can always do that through the link in the description to my website, intuitivetouchanimalcare.com. Oh, good. So ladies doing, I love acupuncture. It really is amazing how it just, I mean, chiropractic is its own reset, but, you know, acupuncture just works in a different way, a deeper way. They both go great together. So that's exciting. And I'm sure people know that I have acupressure videos on this channel, like playlists that you can go play with and look around and see what's in there. So things are grouped together nicely if you're looking for little lessons on massage and acupressure. Especially as the season is coming with like fireworks and allergies and things like that. This is a good time to check those particular videos out. And thank you. I hope she does too. I'm excited to see what happens, but she's, we'll see. Oh my goodness. Your vet made national news many years ago for performing a surgery on a goldfish to remove a cancerous tumor. That's crazy. I almost feel like I have seen that. Interesting. What's your vet's name? I feel like I've seen that. Or where are they located? Or you might not want to mention that, but oh, thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate it. I'm glad to see that people are watching them and using that information that's there for education. That's why I do it. So yeah, I feel like I heard about that goldfish surgery. That's really interesting. It's like ringing a bell. So, all right. Well, I hope everybody benefited from this. And if you have questions also, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'll get back to you. Dr. Chuck Coleman. Okay. That's crazy. Wow. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. It's so nice to connect with you guys. And, you know, thank you for being here for Furry Thursdays. We're here every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And God bless and have a wonderful week. Thank you.